Today we are talking all things Intellect Horde Base. Now we've got a lot of info to cover and no time to waste, so let's get to it. The Intellect attribute offers players a very unique opportunity to switch up their playstyle. Most character builds require that the player gets their hands dirty. They actually get up close and personal with the zombie jerks or take out the zombie jerks by themselves. The Intellect build, however, is a little bit unique. For this build, we use our Intellect to build machines to do the work for us. We have our robotic turrets that'll take care of any jerks when we're out looting POIs or questing. And for Horde Night, we have electric traps. So today we're going to discuss an Intellect build Horde Base. This Horde Base design attempts to maximize the perks in the Intellect attribute tree. We're going to be relying primarily on our electric traps in order to take out the zombie jerks on Horde Night. So first, let's take a little tour of the Horde Base that I've designed for an Intellect build character. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a little tour of this nice little Horde Base here. Now, I've built this completely out of steel. I'm going to be using this base to take on the day 700 Horde. So this is going to be for very, very late game. However, you can start building this out of wood or cobblestone, whatever you want, and just upgrade it and improve on it as you go. So consider this kind of a final version of this Horde Base, but it is very doable to do something similar early game. So let's get started. We're going to actually follow the path that the zombies will take. So what they're going to do is they're going to be following this path here, walking up the stairs. Here we go. And now we are inside the little kill tunnel. Now you'll see here we come to our first electrical trap. This is an electric fence. And then we also have a trigger plate. These trigger plates that you see here are tied to the dart traps. Dart traps are awesome. They deal a crap ton of damage, and the darts really are not that expensive to make. So the only problem with dart traps is they burn through the ammo pretty quick. So the reason we have the trigger plates is to only have them fire when there are actual zombie jerks in this tunnel. So the zombie jerks walk through here, boom, they step on the trigger plate, the dart traps start firing. So I've got one dart trap there, one dart trap there. This one here is tied to the bottom one, and that one there is tied to the top one. That way there's two levels of darts being fired, and they will only trigger once the zombie jerks have entered in this little killing corridor area. So as they run across the electric fence, they get shocked, and they get stopped on the trigger plate and pelted with dart traps. And they keep on going, and there's another electric fence there. They get shocked, and they come to dart trap number 2, trigger plate, get shot in the face, good to go. And they keep going, they get shocked again, and then they make this little turn here, and they start heading in, boom, we've got bars set up here to block their path, and we have our 2 robotic sledges right here. So if by chance they make it through the tunnel of death, they get past the electric fences, they get past the dart traps, they will come over here trying to get to us. We will be standing in that little room in there, and they make it over here, and oh no, they get hit, and boom, they get thrown off of the platform, meaning they have to go all the way around and start again. That's why we also have down here a row of blade traps along the outside. So the robotic sledge pushes them off, and they go flying, and a lot of times they actually will land in the blade traps here and just get chopped to pieces and die. Now, of course, everything is off right now while I'm showing it to you because, you know, I don't want to die. But I have the blade traps setting all the way on the outside here and around here. Because generally speaking, when the zombies path, they will path on the outside of the structure here and start heading back to the starting point. By the time the zombie jerks reach this point here, they've already taken a lot of damage from the electric fences as well as the dart traps. So they're not going to have very many hit points left. If they do get knocked off here by the sledges, then they will fall down in the blade traps, and most of them will die almost immediately before they make it back around. But if by chance we get some really tough zombies, radiated bikers and demos and that kind of thing, they may make it through the tunnel. But all they'll do is they'll path back around here, and they will start heading then back up and go through the maze once again. So they're getting electrocuted, they're getting shot in the face by darts, they come around here to get to us, and boop, get smacked in the face or smacked in the chest with the robotic sledges, get tossed off the edge, down into the blade traps, and go and do the loop again. Now, I do have the rad remover installed in both of the turrets, so if we do have any radiated zombies, they do make it through the tunnel of death and come up to the thing here. When they do get hit by the sledge, it will remove their ability to regenerate. So then they fly down there into the blade traps and get chopped to pieces. Generally speaking, everything is going to die if they make it to this point. They will die either by getting hit by the sledge or being tossed down into the blade traps. I've ran this a few times, just like test runs with big spawns of zombies, and some of them do make it through, but I have not seen any make it through a second time. So they'll get knocked down there, and they usually die immediately to the blade traps. And like I said, we are going to be standing in here. This is going to be our little area here. We have our 2 generator banks ready to roll. They're all fueled up and ready to go. And then up top, let me jump up top here. I will show you. We have our bird defenses. So I've got 4 SMG turrets, and they are just pointed up at the sky in this direction here. That is just to take out the stupid birds, because we will get a bunch of stupid birds, and we want them taken out without having to worry about them attacking our structures or anything like that. So that is why the SMG turrets are here. They are here simply to handle the stupid birds. And of course, we have our escape hatch. So just in case something goes wrong, we can bail out and get out of the structure if we need to run away. But I think this design is going to be pretty safe. And this is just a basic design, guys. I used, let's see, I think 10 electric fences, 2 dart traps, 10 blade traps, 2 sledges, and a nice little path for the zombies to follow. That's it. This is a pretty simple setup. Now, for the Intellect builds, you can go a lot more elaborate if you want, but you really don't need to. You can keep it nice and simple. All you're going to do on Horde Night, pull out your Desert Vulture, and you're actually going to stand in the back here. Now, it's good to stand back. That way, if any cops run in this area here, they do not see you and spit. You don't want the cops to spit. But from back here, they cannot see you at all, and you still have a nice clear shot down the path here. So as they're running up, trying to get to the bars, you can take some pot shots and try to deal a little bit more damage, while your little trap setup does almost all of the work for you. What's great is any kills done by the traps will garner us 50% experience, but any kills attributed to our 2 robotic sledges, or any kills that we get by shooting them in the face with our Desert Vulture, we will get 100% of that experience. That's what's great about this little setup, is because a lot of times they'll make it through this tunnel and start heading their way here, but they've got so little hit points by the time they get here that they are usually killed by the sledges, or like I said, you can take pot shots with your Desert Vulture and take them out that way. But that's pretty much all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice and simple, pretty straightforward, but we're going to be relying on our traps and our sledges to do most of the work for us. We are actually going to sit back, relax, hold our Desert Vulture out, and just shoot them as they come through. Simple as that. So I do think it's time to go ahead and put this thing through its paces. I'm going to go ahead and get us to day 700. We're going to take on the day 700 Horde, because if we can make it through the day 700 Horde with this design, we can make it through any Horde Night with this design. So let me get that queued up, and we will be back to put this thing to the test. But before we move on and demonstrate this Horde base in action, I did want to take this opportunity to say, if you find this video helpful and or enjoyable, join the SAV Nation by clicking that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single one of our tutorial videos. I release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I'd also like to mention that the Savin's World Discord server is up and running. You can find the invite link to that server in the description of this video. Come on over and say hello. Meet the other members of the SAV Nation. There's a lot of really awesome people in this community, and we'd love to see you there. But now, it's time for Horde Night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is day 700, just before Horde Night. Let's take a look at our character here. All right, so Intellect, we've got Intellect maxed out. We have our robotic Complex Inventor all the way up to 5, Advanced Engineering up to 5, and in Agility, I've got Agility up to 7. That gives me Gunslinger 4, and it gives us maxed out run and gun so we can reload our weapon on the fly. We've got our full set of heavy armor ready to roll. I've got my nerdy glasses on to give me that bonus XP, and I think we are about ready to roll. Now, when the Horde starts, you want to start close. You want to be like up here in the little doorway here. That way, the zombie jerks will start pathing this way and try to get to you. But we need to get everything turned on and ready to go. So we've got everything here all fueled up. Let's turn this on. There we go. Turn this on. There we go. But I think we are about ready to roll. So I'm going to cut it here and I will cut back in as soon as Horde Night starts. This is going to be fun, guys. Let's see what happens. All right, guys, 5 minutes to go. Horde Night is almost upon us. There it is. All right, so the zombie jerks should be spawning in. Once we see them start pathing up there, and there they go. All right, so you notice him starting to head up the ramp there. Now we can start backing off here. We can set ourselves right there. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself out of my body so we can take a closer look at what's going on inside here. So you'll see them coming down and they are getting electrocuted. They are getting pummeled, absolutely pummeled by the dart traps, and even the demo is coming through. And I'm hearing my blade traps go off, and there they go. Look, following the path perfectly. Oh, it's absolutely working perfectly. That demo is just getting pounded. All right, looks like he's about to make it through, so we're gonna come back over here. Now, the reason our sledges are on the side, on this side here, are just so they don't accidentally set off the button. If you attack the demos on their left side, boom, just like that, and down he goes, and the blade traps start doing their thing, and he's on fire, and he paths around and goes through the tunnel of death once again. And he just died. Down he goes. So like I said, sometimes they make it through the very first round, but they rarely, if ever, make it through a second pass through this little design. All right, guys, so I am gonna cut it here. We're just gonna let this keep rolling, and I'll cut back in with any important moments if anything of consequence happens. And I'll also cut back in when we get a little closer to the end of Horde Night. But you see the basic design of this, and I apologize if it's very, very loud. But you see the basic design, you see how this is working, and it's working like a charm. We're sitting back here. You can see me back there in the back. We're just sitting back, hanging out. Oh, another demo got knocked off into the blade traps, and he goes running around to do the loop of death again. So let me cut it here, guys, and I will cut back in a little bit later into Horde Night. All right, guys, it is midnight. Things are still going very, very well. Zombie jerks are following the perfect path, going through the tunnel of death, and we have had no problem whatsoever. Look at them. They're just running right into the blade traps. Oh, you stupid zombies. I love it. I have not fired a single shot, just sitting back here, letting my traps do all the work for me. That's exactly what you want with an intellect build. Let your traps do the work. You sit back, enjoy yourself a nice cold adult beverage, and have a great night. Sit back and rack up that XP without doing a single thing. But I will cut back in a little bit later. We'll let this Horde base do its thing, and we'll see how we make out. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, it is 3:30 in the morning. We've got a half hour left of Horde Night, and I have had no problem whatsoever. I still have not fired a single shot. Oh! As I say that, we had some company. Now, what I should have done is probably put some more bars up on the side here. Whoa, and I remember what I was telling you about standing back so the cops don't spit at you? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But I should have put bars up on the side here in order to keep the spiders from jumping up. But if you stand back in the back here, they don't even bother you. They don't try. They'll just follow the path. The reason they did is because I stood here, and they're like, ooh, we can get him there, we can get him there. And there is the morning bell. Good morning, crazy world. Let's let the traps finish up, and then we will take a look and see. And we did have some cops exploding in there, so there's probably gonna be a little bit of damage here. But it looks like all of my traps are still working. Yeah, there goes another cop. All my traps are still working, and we had 0 problems whatsoever. I mean, it was one of the smoothest Horde Nights I have ever seen. Let's open this back up here. One thing I did notice is that for some reason, they would be running over here to the salvage operation sign and jump up there and try to take that out. Let's take care of that puppy there. And once all the zombie jerks are dealt with, we'll turn off the traps and we'll go and check out how much damage they actually did. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. All the zombie jerks are dead. We're gonna go ahead and turn off our traps here. Look at that. It used 50 gas. 50 gas the entire night for this one. This one will probably have used a lot more. Yeah, 103 gas for this one. Turn that off. All right, traps are done. Let's go ahead and pull out our nail gun and let's go see how much damage these jerks did to our base. So let's start with the traps. Okay, so the electric traps did take some damage. They're gonna need some repairs. Not a biggie. That's to be expected. After your traps, every time the zombies hit them, the traps will actually take damage. So that's to be expected. Let's check out our blade traps. Not too bad. All right, that one's a little over half. That one wasn't damaged at all. And this one was barely damaged. Check out our pillars. Took a little bit of damage here or there. So you are going to need to do a little bit of repair work. Not a problem. Yeah, see, they were coming over here and smacking this for some reason. And I don't know why. But that's the zombies for you. They're stupid. Let's take a look on the inside and see how much damage those cop explosions did. See if they damaged anything here. So our trigger plate got damaged pretty well. That's going to need to be repaired. Inside the walls are going to need to be repaired a little bit. Yeah, this trigger plate got damaged a little bit. Our dart traps took a little bit of damage. See how many darts they used. Wow, that one didn't even use a full stack. This one used almost 2 stacks, so the bottom one was much more busy. But that's to be expected because that's the first trigger plate that they come to is the bottom dart trap. So that's to be expected. And this section here didn't take any damage whatsoever. Oh, except for over here. A little bit of damage here. And this was from all that cop spit at the very end. But generally speaking, our little horde base here worked perfectly and barely took any damage. Awesome. I don't think our SMGs, I don't think we had a single vulture that night, so the SMGs I don't think did any work last night whatsoever. But again, the only reason that these got damaged here and the only reason that spider came jumping up here is because I started walking towards the front. If you stay in the back, like pressed up against the door like this, you're perfectly fine. Just sit here and you can let the entire night pass and let your traps do all of the work for you. And then of course you go through and pick up all of the loot bags, get all the spoils of that awesome Horde Night, and they're all right there ready to go. You'll have a little bit of repair work to do, but honestly, not too much. It actually, every single trap held up. None of the traps are broken. Not even the very first electric fence. It got close. It's down to 66 out of 200, so it got close, but it lasted the entire night. And I just sat there. I let the traps do all the work. It was absolutely amazing. So this simple little setup here is all you need for an Intellect build. And like I said, guys, this is just a basic idea. This is just a basic design. Just make a nice little killing tunnel here, a tunnel just filled with traps that the zombies have to run through to get to you. Then at the end of that, put down your sledges to knock them down into even more traps, the blade traps down here, and make them run through the circuit again. There was not a single zombie jerk that was able to make this circuit twice. The demos usually made it through once, then they'd get knocked down and they'd either get flung into the blade traps and killed, or they'd get back up to the start of the tunnel of death and die almost immediately. The radiated whites seemed to get through okay, so they'd make it through. They'd get hit by the sledges here, and most of them actually got hit directly into the blade traps and just got chopped to pieces and died before even making it up to the tunnel for the second time. So something as simple as this, guys, is all you really need. And again, you can start this off with wood or cobblestone and upgrade as you go. This design took out the day 700 Horde. Handled it no problem whatsoever. So as you're building this, build it a little bit at a time. Get your basic design that you want to make. Start it out of basic materials. Start it out of cobblestone if you can. And then just continually upgrade and add things. And that's all there is to it, guys. Simple Intellect Horde base that lets your traps do all the work for you. You sit back, enjoy yourself a nice cold adult beverage, and just just watch the show. The Intellect character is all about brains over brawn. This character build relies on ingenuity. You will be using your brain power and know-how to craft some awesome electrical traps to take down them zombie jerks. And crafting a horde base that relies on those electrical traps to do your work for you is not very difficult at all. Now, this is just my example. The great thing about 7 Days to Die is your imagination is the only limitation this game places on you. You can design your own horde base however you may want it. Couple of things to keep in mind with regards to the intellect build. Remember that the purpose of this build is to rely on your intellect, so you want to let your traps do the work for you. So when you're designing your horde base, you want to design it in a way where the zombie jerks have to pretty much run through a maze of death. Deploy your traps strategically and make sure the zombie pathing takes them through those deployed traps. An intellect horde base is extremely effective against the zombie jerks. I hope you folks have found this video helpful and or enjoyable. If you did and you'd like to see more, I've created a very special playlist of character build and horde base tutorials that you can access by clicking the box in the top right corner of the screen. But for now, this is Saven saying thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in Saven's World. And remember, the average gamer is always king of the hill on the bell curve.